Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. Cohen, we are just, one business day away if Donald Trump doesn't come up with a bond or a surety bond. His properties are going to get seized. And moments before we went live, we've learned about all of the steps that have been taken by New York Attorney General Letitia James to perfect her judgment in Westchester in order to seize the property early next week. Liens have been placed essentially on the properties. The judgment has been registered. And Michael Cohen, what's your immediate reaction?
Listen, I said a long time ago, I'm going to say it today on our beatdown. I'm coming with the gloves today like Mike Tyson in the Jake Paul fight. She's not playing games. They're fighting with somebody who is an unsinkable attorney general. She doesn't care what he says. She doesn't care what he does. She doesn't care about anything other than taking the properties to satisfy the judgment or taking the cash equivalent, meaning the cash in stocks and bonds. She doesn't care. She's already gotten the decision that they wanted. It's a lot of money for the state of New York, and I am extremely honored to have been part of the process of repatriating $500 million to the great state of New York and to the people. So to all the migrants that are out there and to all the minorities that Donald Trump shits on a daily basis, nope. $500 million coming in, gift a la Trump.
I want to thank our fan art as well. We welcome fan art here. Just let us know when you send it to us that you're okay with us using it, because we don't want to post it without your permission. But here's a good one that we got, Michael Cohen. Donald Von Shits His Pants. I spelled it a little differently than that. The his has a Z on this one right here. That's fan art brought to you by @Skullface Project right there. Great work right there. But I want to reflect before we really get into a little bit more what's going on in the New York Attorney General collection efforts, what happened at the latest MAGA Republican Oversight Committee hearing, as we talk about what's going on in the Manhattan District Attorney case with the recent filing. I really think it's important, Michael Cohen and Brigaders, that we reflect what was happening 4 years ago to this date, because you're hearing now, were you better off 4 years ago than you are today? And I think that is an important question. I think it is a good question, in fact. So I just want to take a look back 4 years ago to the day. This was one of the reasons why we ended up starting the Midas Touch Network, when me and my brother saw the press conference 4 years ago. Let's play it.
What the hell do you have to lose? Okay.
So what do you say to Americans? Units are nearly 200.
John, go ahead.
Dead. What do you say to Americans who are scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witness, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead. I think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people. The American people are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. And you're doing sensationalism, and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Concast. Let me just for whom you work. Let me just say something. That's really bad reporting. And you ought to get back to reporting instead of sensationalism. Let's see if it works. It might and it might not. I happen to feel good about it, but who knows? I've been right a lot. Let's see what happens, John.
Well, he's always wrong.
Yeah,
when I watch that, I just
been right a lot. He's been right so often. He's such a winner. You're going to be, Ben, I want you to know, you're going to be so tired of winning. You're going to want a loss. Who said that?
Yeah, Von Schützenpants. Let me show you the post that he made, Cohen, exactly a year ago to the day as well, where he tells people to take hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin taken together. This is what he posted: have a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. The FDA has moved mountains. Thank you. Hopefully they will both H works better with A, International Journal of Antimicrobial. And it actually turns out that that's killed thousands of people, as The Hill reported. Nearly 17,000 people may have died from hydroxychloroquine, according to a recent study. It did not do what it said it was going to do. And also, it just shows you everything about Donald Trump, all of his qualities kind of encapsulated there, right? The juvenile name calling, but combined with this malignant narcissism, this arrogance. If he just stood back and did nothing and allowed the scientists to actually get to work, there would have actually been positive outcomes, I think. The issue with him on everything is not only is he a moron, not only is he an idiot, not only is he dangerous, not only is he juvenile, but then he wants to get involved and replace the experts with people like him, with people like Alina Habba, and that entire crew of just incompetent people. Michael Cohen.
Habba the horrible. Look, let me be clear about something. First and foremost, Donald has no idea what he's talking about on virtually anything. And that includes real estate, which we've just come to realize considering his valuations, right? There comes a point in time that we, as the American citizens, as brigaders, as people in this community that are hell-bent on ensuring that democracy continues, he needs to go. Period. End of story. He is dangerous. He doesn't care enough to find out the facts when our country is facing an epidemic that we haven't seen in over 100 years. And he just doesn't care. So what does he do? He comes up with some asshole turned around and told him, right, hey, I read something about hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin. Guys, azithromycin is used for pimples. I mean, it's used if you have a low-grade infection. It's an antibiotic like tetracycline, penicillin, azithromycin, right? I mean, that's what it is. The fact that, now you're going to add a low-grade antibiotic to hydroxychloroquine, which I think is a malaria drug, that's all of a sudden, that's the big news. The big news. And who was the journalist that he was yelling at that you're unfair, that it's a terrible question, that you're not? I liked Trump's language. That
it was Peter Alexander.
Oh, Peter Alexander, good guy. That you're not giving the American people hope. American people weren't looking for hope. They were looking for answers, right? Hope is a whole nother story. They were looking for our leader to go ahead and to use the medical technology that makes America as advanced as it is in that field, to come up with answers, not, hey, let's hope, right? It's almost like, remember when you were a kid and you'd be like, you got the cooties here, here's a cooties shot, right? There's no such thing as hope when you're talking about an epidemic. There's only solutions. And the solutions comes in the form of medical science, not in the, hey, let's pray for this. Right? Because the people who sat there refused to get even vaccinated down the line, and they were praying, God will protect me, are now in the ground.
Cohen, we have a lot of supporters here that run the spectrum from within the pro-democracy community, from progressives and liberals and Democrats to independents to probably the same amount of people who identify as kind of mainstream conservatives, mainstream Republicans, kind of Nikki Haley supporting, Republicans. Even I've noticed a lot of, believe it or not, some DeSantis supporting Republicans go, we disagree on a ton of things, but they go, you know what? When it comes to Trump, they saw that in the it's actually surprised me. I've seen that actually, a little bit more than I've expected to see. But here's ultimately the thing that I like to think about as part of this pro-democracy community. There are some aspects of conservatism in terms of protecting institutions and some other ideas and philosophies that I understand, that I want to grapple with ideas and to try to reach the best solutions. Sometimes you could have very well-intentioned programs that try to help certain issues, but then it may be like, is that really helping the issue? Is that the best use of funds? So to me, those are the types of debates, the Obama-McCain debates, the Obama-Romney debates. Those are the kind of debates that I long for. But with this whole MAGA movement, with what you saw there with Donald Trump, that isn't conservative. That isn't Republican. It's MAGA. Like when you take a look at this, as Donald Trump is whining about how he's not able to post a bond or he can't find a surety, and then ranting in all capital letters. You've got these parties taking place at Mar-a-Lago. Here's Alina Habba and the MAGA rapper, a guy named Forgasio Blow. And this guy on the left, Forgasio Blow, the MAGA rapper, he like raps about, there's one song, it's a really, like he's a really bad rapper, number one. Two, it's weird that there's a MAGA rapper. And then he raps about like killing a girlfriend. And this video is one of the most disgusting and vile things I've ever seen, where he's like packing the body parts in a bag and throwing it, in the ocean. There he is at Mar-a-Lago with Alina Habba, who's supposed to be Donald Trump's lawyer. For those who are listening on audio and aren't watching on YouTube, she's wearing obviously fake, but like a fake Trump head gold chain on her with probably a fake ring that says MAGA on it. And when I look at this, by the way, Peter Henline right there is someone who I've been talking with. He's a DeSantis supporter. You would think would disagree on just about everything. But here's what Peter Henline, a DeSantis supporter, says. He goes, if you feel bad that Trump has lost $550 million over the last few months, don't. It was his choice to hire this woman as his lawyer instead of picking someone competent. And Cohen, when you look at this,
right. By the way,
Yeah.
he's so right. She's there enjoying, clearly free of charge. She didn't pay to get in to that event because she's Alina Habba, right? She's lost him like a dozen different cases. She's lost him more than $500 million, and she's whooping it up with possibly one of the worst rap stars, if you could even call him a star, that's out there. But Ben, can I just jump back to one quick thing about the whole thing with COVID and with Donald, which makes him even less of a leader, if you could imagine, than what we already think of him? You have somebody like Anthony Fauci, and then you have another epidemiologist, Dr. Birx. They are recognized not just in America, but they are recognized worldwide as leading epidemiologists in the world when it comes to these types of issues. And do you remember what happened, Ben, between Donald and Anthony Fauci? Donald was calling for Fauci to be arrested and charged with murder. I mean, it is absolutely insane that a guy who has devoted his life to medicine, right, who is a leading epidemiologist in the world, has to listen to the likes of von Schitzenpants, who's sitting there and telling people things like, don't worry, it'll go away, it's like a flu, or yelling at a reporter and saying to him that the question you're asking, which is the question that was on everyone's mind, you're a bad journalist, that you're fake news, when he turned around and he asked Dr. Birx whether or not inserting a light into the body, he's heard it from somebody that you can do that, or you could inject bleach because bleach is a cleanser, and that if you inject it into the lungs, we're studying that, right? And you should keep looking at that because that could be helpful. Yeah, he's a fucking moron. He's a fucking moron. You know what? I agree with you. Injection of bleach is good. And Donald, you should be the test subject.
During a recent fundraiser in Houston, while on a riff about Trump's handling of COVID-19, President Biden asked the donor crowd, quote, "Remember when he said inject bleach?" After some chuckles, Biden continued, quote, "I think he must have done it." And the crowd erupted into laughter. And that was and I think we have the post where that was reported by Sung Kim, a reporter. But, I also think that one of the things I like is, Biden's really pushing back right now as well. This was a recent press statement that was made by the Biden campaign. I think we've got a copy of it that was just put out. Biden Harris, this was issued today, not a winning campaign. Broke Don hides in basement. Trump can't raise money, isn't campaigning, and is letting convicts and conspiracy theorists run his campaign. And you go on to take a look at this press release that was issued. It says, not a winning campaign, broke Don hides in the basement. We have questions for the political pundits and prognosticators regarding Republican candidate for President Donald Trump and his general election strategy. 1, lack of funding. Is not raising the funds needed to reach voters or even campaign a good strategy? Is trailing your opponent in cash on hand by nearly 4-1 and hitting up donors to help cover your own personal debts instead of funding your campaign a winning formula for November? Then a quote CNN. Former President Donald Trump's campaign and joint fundraising committee together brought in $20.3 million in February and entered this month with a combined $41.9 million cash on hand, according to Trump campaign officials. But that amount trails far behind the $53 million raised that President Joe Biden and Democrats previously announced raising in February, and the massive $155 million available cash that Biden's team said it amassed with its affiliated committees. 2, not campaigning. Is not campaigning as your opponent relentlessly campaigns in battleground states and hiding in your basement a good way to assemble a winning coalition of voters? President Biden writes. This is what CNN's headline was. Joe Biden has been to every top battleground state but one since Super Tuesday primaries. Donald Trump has held one rally in a battleground state in those 2.5 weeks and shifted another to Ohio, in part to save on costs. He has also played in 2 golf tournaments in his Palm Beach club, among other activities at his club. Then 3, bad messaging. Is it good when your senior advisors are freaking out about bad news coverage, cutting Social Security and Medicare, banning abortion and violent rhetoric, and openly admitting your candidate is letting crazies run your inner circle? Then it cites a Biden-Harris spokesperson who released the following statement. We are 2 weeks into the general election, and Donald Trump can't raise money, is hiding at his country club, and is letting convicts and conspiracy theorists take over his campaign. That is not a winning strategy. And I think it is a winning strategy, Michael Cohen, for President Biden right now to step on the gas and to put out statements like that and to aggressively attack and mock and expose Donald Trump in this MAGA mutation that ain't Republican, that ain't conservatism.
Well, I think personally, you didn't give Donald the credit as to the golf tournaments. Not only did he win, again, the club championship, but he also won the senior club championship, right? And I think that's extremely important to note, right? Simply because there's no doubt in my mind, as he wins every single year, he's cheating. I mean, he cheats at everything. It is inconceivable that he won this. I mean, first of all, if you watch, look, I'm not even going to get into this. It doesn't even matter, right? The whole point is, while Joe Biden is out there and speaking the truth to the American people on the dangers of Donald Trump, if God forbid a million times that he would return to the White House, how it would be the end of our democracy, and not to be hyperbolic about it. But I may have been one of the first to say it, but I know for a fact that I am not now the last one to say it, and I won't be the last one to say it. And I don't want to be right. You know, I was talking to John Avlon all right, and who's going to be on my podcast next week. And I was also talking to Bakari Sellers, who actually he's on Mea Culpa tomorrow. And we were talking about my 2018 hearing before the House Oversight Committee. And they marveled at the fact that how many things that I said at that hearing have turned out to come true. And just to name a few, in my opening line, I said Donald Trump is a con man, he's a liar, and he is a cheat. He is. He's a con man, he's the liar, and he's a cheat. And the funny thing is, over the course of the next 6 years, the American people have seen that he is a con man, a liar, and a cheat again and again and again. Then, of course, I made the famous prediction that so many people laughed at me about, that my biggest fear is that if Donald Trump doesn't win the 2020 election, that there will never be a peaceful transfer of power. Well, what ended up happening? It's called January 6th. I then also turned around and I said that Donald Trump devalues his assets in terms of taxes, but he overvalues them for net worth, for demonstrating his net worth. Well, $500 million later. I also said to Mark Meadows, I know what you're doing. I know the game that you are playing, the game plan, because I wrote it. And look at what's happened to me. Look what's going to happen to you and others. Peter Navarro is now sitting in Miami, in FCI Miami. And let me tell you, FCI Miami is not a fun place to be. In fact, no FCI, Federal Correctional Institution, is a fun place to be. Away from your family, your friends, you lose your honor, you lose your dignity, you lose your health, you lose everything. And this fucking idiot, this television tough guy, wants to sit out there and say, I'm not scared, I'm not nervous. Yeah, too bad we can't get a camera in there now. Could you imagine? Let me tell you, FCI Miami, I knew a few guys that were there, and they ended up moving off to Otisville, where I was. They tell horror stories of the shit that goes on in there. There's no joke. And this guy who's as white bread as white bread can be, this Harvard, economist and so on. This guy doesn't know the life. It's not, he's not playing the thug life. This isn't a reality game show. He's a fucking idiot. And everything that I said during that House Oversight Committee somehow managed to come true. And I just wish that the American people would have listened to me, both Republican and Democrat. But
I want to share. I want to share though these propaganda tactics, because these used to be the types of propaganda tactics that we in the United States, when we were all pro-democracy before this MAGA mutation took over the Republican Party, we would look at Vladimir Putin and people like Kim Jong-un, and we would kind of like mock it, right? We'd be like, this is like ridiculous.
Yeah, who wants to live like that?
You have like, Putin awarded 8th degree black belt in karate. You'd get all of those types of stories.
Yeah,
right?
He won the Samba championship. It's not karate. Oh, that's karate? Because he's an 8th degree black belt in Samba as well.
Yeah, and then you have these like outrageous, and this is from the Mirror, outrageous North Korean propaganda shows country winning everything from World Cup to Olympic gold, and they just like made up stuff. So if we've got some of these photos, like the fake boxing competition that they show North Korea winning, and the fake track and field.
If Salty can find it, remember when Putin, who happens to be a very good ice skater, listen, say whatever you want about Putin. He is an athlete. I mean, the guy is riding bareback, no shirt on the horse. He's skating, playing with the Russian hockey team, and so on, and scored, what was it, like 82 goals in the first period, and so on. The guy can skate. Can he score a goal off of these guys? No, and so on. Put Donald Trump, if you would, on a pair of ice skates. Put him bareback on a horse. Watch the horse, all 4 legs crack.
I think we've got some of these North Korea photos now. If we are able to pull any of them open, of the North Korean on the track, the North Korea boxing, the North, like take a look at this. Like these are competitions. This is the type of propaganda that's out there, and I think we have some other ones from the track and field and others. But you compare that to like. Just take a look at the stuff that Trump's putting out here. Do we have the photo, Salty and Jeremy? This is the Trump Golf Club congratulating Trump on winning his own tournament at his own club. Congratulations to @Real Donald Trump on winning the club championship at Trump Palm Beach. I mean, just think about it there. Trump Golf saying
congratulations to me by me. And
congratulations to me by me.
present me with the award for the club championship. Me, President Trump.
And then you take a look at those North Korea pictures and then compare them to, these, do we have the Trump NFT cards and kind of the MAGA propaganda that's out there? Like you take a look at this, compare it to, we'll pull it up in a little bit, the NFT stuff right there. But Cohen, this is how Trump is running his campaign based on North Korea style propaganda. They're out of money. Trump's requesting a refund from one of his other political action committees back to his Save America one that pays all of the legal bills, because that's kind of run out of money. They've spent more money on legal fees than they've been able to raise. Trump's not using any of his own money, if he even has any money. We know with the surety bond, he can't post, money there. So the campaign is in a dire condition right now. He's in personal financial dire conditions without even putting 1 cent of his own money into these legal bills. The RNC at this point is you have Lara Trump. I think we have a photo of Lara Trump with the dog. And you've got Lara Trump, holding these weird fundraisers, auctioning off chihuahuas for $10,000. That's the state of this. The one's proud. I liked when they were like, I disagreed with a lot of things in the Republican Party, but I liked when there was a proud, at least respectable Republican Party, and there was normal debates, like someone like a John McCain and a Mitt Romney. I mean, are people who I respect, and there were others like that, and there were others on issues like when you talk about, even Senator Jeff Flake, and some of the work that he did with McCain, and you think about
Langford or John
Langford.
Kasich. I mean,
Langford, I disagree on many issues, but when it came to immigration, I was like, okay, you put together a good bill. Let's try to find a bipartisan solution, which President Biden did. And then Trump's like, nah, I want chaos at the border. Let me destroy the most conservative bill from Langford. It's outrageous.
Yeah. Listen, there's really nothing left for me to say on that. We all know that the things that he does is not to benefit the United States of America or the citizens of the country, but rather to benefit himself and himself only. Plain and simple. And you know what? Biden is right when he says, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. What's the alternative here, Ben? Von Schützenpants? For real? A guy who everything about him is a farce? He's a joke? The fact that our allies can't trust him, right? And our adversaries trust him emphatically, not because they really trust him at all, but because they know that he's so stupid that they could pull the wool over his eyes just by flattering him. That's the danger. The danger is, on top of that, that as the Republican nominee, he gets briefed every single day on top secret shit that somebody like Donald should never know. He should never know. In fact, I know this is going to sound crazy. Even if hypothetically he won the election, they should never be briefing him on anything because none of it is safe. And the more that you brief him, the more information that you give him, the more likely it is that Donald is going to spill that information to one of our adversaries. Why? Because he needs the money, because he wants the power, because he wants to be an autocrat, plain and simple.
And by the way, you don't have to listen to Michael Cohen there. You don't have to listen to me there. Donald Trump's defense secretary, Mark Esper, Donald Trump's former national security advisor, Bolton, these people who held the top positions with Donald Trump say that he shouldn't have access to this.
President Mike Pence. No
The
one
top
closer.
The top people around Donald Trump have said that he should not have access. His own top people who held those top positions. Oof. I think we have the photo now. If we can show the North Korea propaganda first, though. If we've got North Korea propaganda, just so I can show you how. And now let me show you the MAGA propaganda right here. This North Korea. Let me show you MAGA. Now do another one on North Korea. Now do another one on MAGA. I mean, that should terrify. This is not what the United States is. That's not what conservatism is. That's not what a Republican should be. That is what MAGA is. And we all need to unite under the pro-democracy banner. You know, I'm really proud, Michael Cohen, of this new group of pro-democracy Democrats in the House of Representatives led by Democratic Congress member Jamie Raskin. I'm talking about Jasmine Crockett. I'm talking about Congressmember Robert Garcia, Congressman Moskowitz, Krishnamurthy, AOC, and others, and they really kicked ass at this recent hearing, another hearing that the MAGA Republicans held dealing with Hunter Biden. I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about developments in the case where you're a witness, the Manhattan District Attorney case. We'll talk about that when we come back from this quick.
Real talk, 52% of men over 40 experience some form of erectile dysfunction between the ages of 40 and 70. But it's always been a taboo topic. Thankfully, HIMSS is changing that by providing affordable access to ED treatment, and it's all online. HIMSS is changing men's health care by providing access to affordable and discreet sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. HIMSS provides access to clinically proven generic alternatives to Viagra and Cialis, up to 95% cheaper. You hear that? 95% cheaper, with options as low as $2 per dose. I mean, the process is simple, and it's 100% online. No uncomfortable doctor visits. Answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. And if prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free and in discreet packaging. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments, online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. HIMSS has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers. So if ED is getting you down, it's time to change that. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/beat. That's HIMS.com/beat for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/beat. Now remember, prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply, so see website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based upon product and subscription plan.
Ben Meiselas here. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics originally inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. And get this, Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than bed sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/beat to try Miracle Made Sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo BEAT at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/beat and use the code BEAT to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/beat to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Welcome back. We're live on Political Beatdown. Michael Cohen, our friend.
Can I just say Spectrum sucks?
People didn't even know that during the ad break, your computer or your service got shut down there, and then it went back right there. But,
well, I am back.
Well, speaking of, you say Spectrum sucks when it came to the an inarticulate move here, saying that the MAGA Republicans trying to say, combine that with Spectrum. In any event, the MAGA Republicans hearing was a complete and utter disaster. I was going to say the MAGA Republicans suck, but that's not really, it's even lower than that. But our mutual friend, Lev Parnas testified, and I thought he crushed it. I thought his testimony was kind of poised, and really the Democrats on this committee took over and really turned this hearing where, again, MAGA Republicans are talking about Hunter Biden. Like, there are real issues that the American people...
What did you think, Ben, was Lev Parnas's breakout moment?
We have the clip, but when Lev Parnas was just allowed to talk by Congressmember Krishnamurthy, and he was just asked, so what else should we know about Donald Trump? And Parnas said, every aspect of what I did was directed by Donald Trump. Donald Trump told me what I was supposed to do when I went to Ukraine.
I parroted the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. Parnas said everything I did, Trump knew about. He told me to do it. And then there was one moment where James Comer, MAGA Republican who chairs the Oversight Committee, was trying to attack Jamie Raskin and said, well, why are you bringing this guy here? Why are you bringing this guy here, Jamie Raskin? We're trying to bring the partners of Hunter Biden. And Congressmember Raskin just kind of, in just kind of perfect response said, yeah, that's Donald Trump's partner right there, Lev Parnas.
I think that Lev's, and again, like you, I know Lev quite some time now. A lot of what was talked about, he actually talked on my Mea Culpa podcast for a full hour, which was fantastic. But the breakout moment for me when it came to Lev was when he turned around and he said that Congressman Sessions, who's sitting here today in this chamber, was with me during this entire journey. And that's how he rationalized that Donald knew everything that was going on. I thought, to me, you cannot have a more impactful moment than that. I mean, I'm sure Sessions was sitting there all clenched up and so on. And he was like, I hope he doesn't say my name. 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 Oh, fuck, he just said my name, right? That's the way that I saw what was going on there, because they all know what's really going on. And that's why when Congressman Moskowitz turned around and said to Comer Pyle and that cackling idiot, Jim Bag Jordan, I'll tell you what, I'm going to help you out here. All right. I'm going to make the motion for the impeachment of Joe Biden, the impeachment of President Biden. I just want you to second it. And he goes, so I call for the impeachment of President Biden. You're up. And they wouldn't do it. And he goes, of course they're not going to do it. Of course they're not. 15 months have gone by, and how much money from the American taxpayers has been spent, how much time, because it doesn't comport with what they want, which is to keep talking about something that doesn't exist. Moskowitz was brilliant.
It's exactly what the MAGA Republicans want to do in anything. They treat we the people like fools. They want to create chaos at the border so they could whine and they can complain about it. They want to take away people's rights. They want to take away people's health care. They want to create pain and harm, and they think that's politically advantageous for them. Here, I just want to show that moment where Democratic Congress member Jared Moskowitz did exactly what you said. So people can say, well, I get that Michael Cohen said that. I get that Ben said that. But why don't you see it for your own eyes when the MAGA Republicans refused to second the motion, meaning basically bring the motion forward? It requires a second regarding the impeachment of President Biden, which the MAGA Republicans claim that this is what they want to do. This was a brilliant moment. Play this clip.
Well, I mean, I'm just here to help him, right? And so I just think we should do it today. Let's just call for it. I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I want to help you out. You can second it, right? Like, make the motion to impeach President Biden. Go ahead. It's your turn. You second it. No, nothing. Okay, we got nothing. So I want to, with my last couple minutes, show the American people that they're never going to impeach Joe Biden. It's never going to happen because they don't have the evidence. Okay, this is a show. It's all fake. They just want to do these hearings. It's not leading to impeachment. They're lying to their base on Newsmax and Fox, leading these people to believe that they're going to eventually impeach the president. It's not going to happen at all, ever, period. They don't even have the votes, even if they had it in committee. They don't have the votes on the floor. They know that. They got members resigning rather than taking a vote on the fake faux impeachment. Just ask Ken Buck, who said the speaker ain't going to get me to take an unconstitutional impeachment vote. I mean, boy.
And let me show you this. This is Democratic Congress member Swalwell putting down the moment or the time of death of the impeachment inquiry. Here, play this clip.
I dare you to impeach, but you won't because you don't have the evidence. And because you don't have the evidence, you don't have the votes. Guys, it's dead. And so I'm here to pronounce the time of death. $5:16.
Say it in Chinese.
Impeachment is dead. 5:16. Biden impeachment's dead. Joe Biden has been acquitted.
You gotta love the Swalwell theatrics. I mean, could you imagine everybody today comes with one of those massive signs behind them? We never saw that under the days of Tip O'Neill. When I worked in the Congress for Congressman Joe Moakley of Massachusetts in 87 and 88, we didn't walk in with gigantic billboards to declare the time of death for an impeachment or dick pics of Hunter Biden, the president's son, or photos of people's text messages and so on. There were conversations that you could disagree with the point, but they were conversations. There's no conversation here. You have when Jared Moskowitz was sitting there and attacking Comer Pyle and the impeachment. You got Jim Bag Jordan off his left shoulder, cackling like a little girl, like a schoolgirl, right? And Jamie Raskin watching as Jim Jordan and Comer Pyle are sitting there laughing. He's laughing at them. I mean, these people are representing us. They're the people who we are paying to do things for us, we the people. And so they're not acting as if they're representing we the people. They're acting as if they represent me and I and MAGA. And so it is so ridiculous. How is anything going to get done that is going to benefit us? Then, of course, you have folks like Jamie Raskin, Swalwell, Moskowitz, AOC. I mean, they're sitting there and they're saying, enough of this shit. It's time for us to do what we were asked to do, and by coming to DC as representatives of our district for the American people, for our constituents. Instead, it's as Moskowitz said, it's fucking theatrics. It's a joke. Jamie Raskin, if we have the tape, let's roll it, because he was fucking, as usual, brilliant. He's brilliant the way he lays it out in terms of it's a legal argument that doesn't exist. They're making it up. And then when you had that idiot Bo Belinsky sitting there and talking about RICO and as it's a violation of law, and AOC, who's not even a lawyer, turns around and says, it's a category, it's not a law. And it doesn't matter to them. Truth doesn't matter. That's the problem. To us, it matters. Without truth, what do we have? We have a bunch of babbling fools on the Republican side, except not all of them are. As Moskowitz said, you have Buck, Congressman Buck, who said, I'm not going to be involved in this unconstitutional vote. And I'm not going to do it. And he's right. The GOP doesn't have enough votes in the House within which to create the articles of impeachment. This is a joke.
Let me share with you this video clip
that
that you...
put an end to it. Ben, we have to help by building this community, this political beatdown community. All of us, every single one that's on this, that's on with us right now, you have to help to do something. We have to get vigilant. We have to sign people up. We have to make sure they vote blue, get them to the ballot box, because the only way we get rid of people like Jim Jordan, Comer Pyle, and the rest of them is vote them out of office.
By the way, I want to thank all of our Beatdown Brigaders who attended the Zoom meeting that we did after our show on Tuesday. That was a lot of fun. So right after our show ended on Tuesday, normally we do an after show on patreon.com/politicalbeatdown. And then we post it after. It's not live, but we did a live Zoom after show where people asked us questions. We pretty much answered most of those questions. We're going to do another one next Tuesday. So make sure if you missed the last one, you want to attend our meeting on Tuesday. You'll get to meet Michael Cohen in a Zoom meeting, ask him questions. And I know a lot of people who wanted to do that. Go to patreon.com/politicalbeatdown. Make sure you sign up there right now, and we'll see you on Tuesday there. But we still got a lot more show here. And I want to show you the clip right now of Democratic Congressmember Jamie Raskin that you referenced moments ago. Let's play that clip. And then I want to show you the clips of Lev Parnas, who I thought was just incredible at this hearing. But first, Raskin.
With the impeachment bus running on empty, our GO colleagues now are apparently preparing to save face by ending the impeachment farce with criminal referrals. But criminal referrals require evidence of crimes. And the only crimes we have seen are those of the GOP's own star witnesses, like Russian asset Alex Smirnov, Chinese agent Gal Luft, Devin Archer, and Jason Galanis. The minority.
Powerful stuff right there. And now let me show you Lev Parnas. 2 moments that really stood out to me. I want to play both of them, then get your reaction, Michael Cohen. Let's play the first clip of Lev Parnas being asked a question by Democratic Congressmember Raja Krishnamurthy. Let's play the clip.
But lots of times.
Is there anything that you'd like to relate to us about your conversations with Donald Trump that would bear on the conduct of these proceedings?
I mean, Donald Trump was aware of everything that was going on that day in the Red Room when we were in the White House. After Rudy bringing Donald Trump up to speed on that I could go out to Ukraine and get Viktor Shokin, Donald Trump approached me, shook my hand, said, "Thank you for all that you're doing. Keep up the good work," patted me on the back, took pictures, and I was off to Ukraine.
To meet with Viktor Shokin?
To find Viktor Shokin, to bring him back here to meet with Lindsey Graham.
Got it. Thank you so much.
One more clip of Lev Parnas I want to show you, Michael Cohen. This is how the MAGA Republicans would launder Russian propaganda and disinformation from Russia into the United States through Fox and other right-wing media. Let's play this clip.
At what point did Mr. Giuliani begin working directly with Russian agents and Russian assets, individuals who would later become sanctioned by Donald Trump's own Treasury Department for spreading propaganda and disinformation against Joe Biden?
It was sometime in probably around May, June of 2019.
Were you aware, was Mr. Giuliani aware that these people were basically just doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin?
Absolutely.
So he had no hesitation about spreading lies that were concocted by Russian agents?
As long as it fit the narrative, absolutely not.
How were you and Giuliani able to take these false allegations peddled by corrupt officials and Russian agents and promote and amplify them here in the United States, in our political system? Weren't media groups skeptical of your claims?
Most media groups, I'd probably say all except for Fox and a few other right-wing media groups, didn't want to take any of the information, and that aggravated Rudy Giuliani and John Solomon and other players. And the main group that was being pushed through was Fox, Sean Hannity, and some other media personnel over there. But then there was also other people that were doing the bidding for the Russian people in Congress, like Senator Ron Johnson, like Congressman Pete Sessions that sits here right now, that was with me from the very beginning in this journey into finding up digging dirt on Joe Biden.
I mean, Lev was so composed. I mean, you and Lev in your congressional testimonies, though, like, I feel like when you finally have that mea culpa moment and the truth is on your side, it truly sets you free. I mean, I saw that with your testimony. I see that with Lev Parnas's testimony.
It's different than when you have folks like Bo Belinsky that are lying to try to create a narrative. When you're telling the truth, it's very fluid. It's very easy to say, just to give the testimony. In fact, when I testified last at the New York Attorney General case before Judge Engoron, one of the things that he commented on was my ease of response, the fact that I answered every single question just very nonchalantly and matter-of-factly. And I say it because it was the truth. What I was providing was the truth. And when you're telling the truth, it's just so easy. It's natural. It's when you're lying and you're afraid that you're going to get caught in the lies and all of that is when you become defensive, and then you become bombastic and rude and the rest of the stuff. Here he's just telling the truth. He knows it because he lived it. It's not like you're doing a book report that you had to memorize the various different chapters and scenes. This is his life. He knows. He went to prison for, yet again, von Schützenpants, for somebody else's needs, for somebody else's direction. And there comes a point in time where we all have to just say, enough is enough. By the way, since we're saying enough is enough, anybody, while Jamie Raskin was asking poignant and important questions, did anybody take a look to see what Comer Pyle was doing? He's sitting on his cell phone and he's texting. Can someone please, Salty, can you roll that back for a half a second? Because the thing I would like to ask Comer Pyle, the fuck could be so important during a hearing of an impeachment, of a potential impeachment of the current president, that you're on your cell phone? What could he be doing?
What do you think he's doing? He's probably texting Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham, or he's probably scheduling his appearance on Newsmax. That's what he's doing. I mean, and he's so embarrassed to be there, and he has no, but he also has no shame. And he just reminds me of, and all these MAGA Republicans, remind me of like it's worse than this. So no offense to like middle school bullies, because it's even worse than this, but like the immature like middle school boys, but like the worst ones that you need to be like, who raised this person? But it's far more dangerous than, I don't want to make light of it, but there's this juvenile aspect of it also, that the smirk and like Jamie Raskin's a serious adult during serious adult times. Here, play the short Play the short clip of it and watch me. I'll cut it shorter, but let's play that clip one more time of Jamie Raskin and watch what James Comer's face is doing, to Cohen's point.
At what point did Mr. Giuliani begin working directly with Russian agents and Russian assets, individuals who would later become sanctioned by Donald Trump's own Treasury Department for spreading propaganda and disinformation against Joe Biden?
It was sometime in probably around May, June of 2019.
Were you aware, was Mr. Giuliani aware that these people were basically just doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin?
Absolutely.
So he had no hesitation about spreading lies that were concocted by Russian agents?
As long as it fit the narrative, absolutely not.
How were you and Giuliani able to take these false allegations?
Such a good point. It's like perhaps the most serious questioning that can exist. That you're telling me that
he's probably playing Candy Crush or something. That's just how pathetic he is. And you know what? Comer Pyle, for sitting there and disrespecting Jamie Raskin and Lev Parnas on issues that are so important to the American people, you know what's coming. That 2 fucking fingers salute, you fucking jerk off. All right? Step down. Step down. Get out of Congress, you worthless piece of shit. There's absolutely nothing. There's nothing that you bring to that house. The people's house. He brings absolutely nothing. He doesn't bring intelligence. He doesn't bring questioning. He doesn't bring valid hearings. All he's doing is wasting the American people's tax dollars and our time and spreading false innuendo about the president, about other people, and so on. He is a fucking disgrace as a member of Congress. And Comer Pyle, fuck you.
2 final points I want to touch upon. One, and then we'll cover more of this in the after show at patreon.com/political beatdown. First and foremost, Manhattan District Attorney filed a memorandum of law earlier in the day regarding the 31,000 or so documents, 15,000 additional ones thereafter, that were turned over by the Department of Justice. And here, the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, basically says, look, we've reviewed these documents now. There may be about 200 or 270 documents that may possibly even potentially be relevant, but these are not really documents that are relevant at all. And then also here, this is where Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan District Attorney, got to also point out that, look, Trump requested this in January. And it's really this is really a Trump tactic to try to derail, this thing. And one of the things that Alvin Bragg said is that he's ready to go in April.
Yeah, but being this is about me, right? I want to say this. I have been fighting for those same documents for over 3 years now through FOIA requests. And only until last week did I receive 32 documents out of 480,000 plus documents. Could you imagine? 3 years I'm supposed to get them on an expedited basis. Trump puts in a request, I don't know if subpoena, FOIA, however he did it, in January, and 6 weeks later, he's getting 100,000 plus documents. Come on. These aren't, this whole system, this whole DOJ, this whole FOIA thing, it's out of fucking control, because those documents, the ones that I'm asking for, will demonstrate with clear and convincing evidence, documentary evidence, that Donald Trump weaponized the Department of Justice through his willing and complicit, bloviated, pig-faced fucking Attorney General Bill Barr to incarcerate me, to violate me off of a counterfeit document, and to remand me back because I refused to waive my First Amendment constitutional right, and I have no fucking remedy. Meanwhile, I now have to sit with my lawyer, with Danya Perry and others. I have to sit with them and go through these 100,000 plus documents. And you think that, again, this is for free? How about forget about my time. That's been for free for the last 6 years. But I have lawyers that are in there in order to go through each and every one of those documents to make sure that they don't put me in additional legal trouble, including things like violating attorney-client privilege for other people. I don't know what they gave them. And that's why I thank everybody who's gone to that GoFundMe for me. These not one penny of it do I see. It goes right to the lawyers. It's so unfair. It's financially draining. It's emotionally exhausting, and it's never ending.
And I just want to make sure, to be very clear on the show that everybody knows, the legal fund, just so everybody's very clear, is different than the Patreon. I want you all to be very much aware of that. The legal fund is that firewallfund.com right there, and that's what goes to Cohen's legal fees. That's different than the Patreon, which does not go to Cohen's legal fees. Just want to be very precise. Firewallfund.com for Cohen's legal fees right there. Separately, unrelatedly, we have patreon.com as a way to help build this show. That's patreon.com/political beatdown. On Patreon, I want to speak a little more about the Manhattan District Attorney case coming up. I also want to talk a little bit about Justice Engoron's order about the financial monitor today. And just a brief summary for those here who can't be on patreon.com/political beatdown. Justice Engoron, as we predicted, gave the federal retired judge, Barbara Jones, additional powers in her oversight of the Trump organization. Anytime Trump makes any disclosure to third parties, you will have the financial monitor take a look at it and have to review those transactions. Quarterly reports to Justice Engoron, any material transaction the financial monitor, retired federal judge Barbara Jones, will have to review and look at as well. And she's empowered to hire basically a full team now of lawyers and accountants and other staff at the sole expense of Donald Trump to monitor each one of his transactions. So I think that was something that Trump was dreading as well. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I wanted to make sure that you all got the summary. I do think it's a pretty big deal to have a financial monitor like that. So patreon.com/political beatdown is where everybody goes next. We've got the Brother podcast that will be live in just a few hours. As well at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You'll check out the Brother the podcast that I do with Brett and Jordy there. And thanks for everyone watching. We have a new video that's up right now on the Midas Touch feed. So everybody who's watching this, as you wait for the after show, you can watch the next video that's posted right now live on the Midas Touch YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody. Shout
Please
out
don't
to
forget, though, Mea Culpa drops tomorrow.
New Mea Culpa Blue. There it is right
Blue.
there. Not Mea Culpa
Blue.
Red.
Blue.
Download Mea Culpa Blue. New Mea Culpa episode tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed to Mea Culpa on all audio podcast apps. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Shout out to the Brigaders. Shout out to the Midas Mighty.
Boom.